Made it through the first day of class, and I am now in my lab all by myself. So I think I'm going to throw a pot. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to make something wonderful. I'm thinking I'm just going to make a large vase. I'm going to go over, and as I am making the pot, I'm going to answer some questions that I've had pop up, some questions that I've gotten from students and other people as I have been making things, and they've wanted information, they wanted knowledge. So I'm going to impart to you some of that knowledge, some of that personal experience that my students want to know. So this is going to be for them. And you also, if you want to know this, you just have to watch. And don't forget, subscribe so that I can actually have someone besides me holding my phone. We're going to start with a larger amount of clay. This isn't really a full bag of clay. I already cut about maybe a fourth of it off. So I'm going to cut it right here. This ought to be, that's probably a third of a bag of clay. That should do it. That should make a pretty large pot, actually, if I make it thin enough. All right. First thing you got to do is wedge this up. There we are. Once I've wedged it a bunch, I'm going to roll it up and pat it into a ball. All right, here I am, ready to start this adventure. You can see my wheel's already been dirty just because I've used it all day making pots for my students. Try to get them all excited about making pottery. There we go. Here's my ball of clay. I'm going to slap that down in the middle. All right. Now I'll do it. I'm going to push it down, make sure that it's got a good seal on the wheel head. Then, with this much clay, you can do some slap centering. Slap centering is when you sit there and you slap it as it goes around the wheel, and it'll slowly slap it more into the middle. There we go. You can see what that did to it. You can see that my hands don't have a whole lot, they're not moving a whole lot, so I don't have a whole lot to go once I do the slap centering. I want to cone that up and push it down. I'm going to cone this up pretty high because this clay up here is easy for me to maneuver with. Well, let's talk about the first question that people have had. Some that have been asked of me. The question is, what is the most important tip you'd give a complete beginner starting on the pottery wheel? So a complete beginner starting on the pottery wheel. What is some advice? Well, there is a book that is written by Malcolm Gladwell. Some of you may have heard of this. He talks about how it takes 10,000 hours of practice to achieve mastery in a complex field. So my advice, if you're just starting out with pottery, is to just keep going. Just keep going. This is a complex field. There's a lot of things going on. I'm using my foot pedal, the speed of my wheel. I'm using my hands, both hands. I'm using pressure. There's things that happen with the clay. It could be soft, it could be hard. There are all sorts of factors. And when you first start out, you want it to be as easy as some of these professionals make it look, as easy as I make it look. But in reality, there's nothing that's going to aid you better than just making and making more and making more and making more. Start with mugs, start with bowls, just keep making. The more you make, the better you get. The more times your hands touch the clay, the better you will be. The more chances you have to master the process. All right? So my advice is to start and just keep making. Just do it over and over again. Another question. How do you know when the clay is perfectly centered on the wheel? Well, it's a little hard to show you now, but basically, when that clay is centered on the wheel, you can just kind of close your eyes and put your hands on it, and you can feel it. If it's just spinning in your hands, you don't feel them going like this, you know it's centered. Okay, so sometimes it just helps to take your eyes off it and put your hands on there and just feel it. Just feel it. These next pulls I do, I'm going to try to form a little bit while I'm pulling. Okay, because it can still be thinned out down here, but as you move clay outward, it gets thin. And what this is going to do, this is going to give me a chance to shape it with some durability still. I don't really want this one to be super fat. Although we could turn it into a moon jar pretty easily. It's got all the characteristics of that. It also has all the characteristics of a really nice bellied vase. I'm going to go in more on the bottom here. Last question. What is the trickiest part of throwing pottery and how did you master it? All right. I remember I had bought my own pottery wheel. It was used. So my first pottery wheel was a Pacifica. I had it for over 30 years. So the most difficult thing and how did I master it? I remember trying to make big pots like this. This one's not super huge. It's big. It's not super huge. It's not a gargantuan pot. But I remember sitting in my basement trying to make big pots. And how did I master it? What I did is every day, I would go down and I would try to throw a big pot. One, just one. After that, if I failed, just move on. If I did it, keep it. But I had a lot of failures at the beginning, and it was just the repeated motion of going through it over and over again every day that allowed me to figure out some things. Allowed me to do what I did here, where I threw it and I shaped it a little bit at the same time rather than just throwing a tall cylinder and then going back and trying to shape it. It allowed me to figure out how to get the weight from the bottom area up into here. It allowed me the right pressure, the kind of pressure I needed to succeed at it. Now, I gotta tell you, one of the things that helped me the most when I was first starting out with pottery was having a purpose behind it. So one of the first things I did is I went out, after I bought my wheel, I signed up for art festivals. I signed up for probably about 8 of them the first summer. I did 2 to 3 a month is what I signed up for. They were small ones. Every little city in Utah has a celebration, and every little city has a festival that goes with it, and I went and did every little city that I could that was close by. And what happens is I gave each of these places about anywhere from $50 to $200 for a fee. And now I was committed with my own money to need to go to that festival, and I needed to make at least $200 to break even, or else I just spent my money on nothing. So I would go in my basement and I had a list. I had a list of all the things that I needed to make so that I thought would sell. So after I signed up for these festivals, I would be committed to making stuff. So every day I had a list of things that I needed to make so I'd be ready for the next one. That is what I really felt like pushed me into mastering the basics, mastering the mugs, mastering bowls, mastering things 10 inches, 8 inches tall, 8 to 10 inches tall. So mastering those basics. That coupled with every day going down and making one of these was clutch in me learning how to master the skill, at least get to the point where I felt like I was good.